and I'd like to reiterate just how appreciative we are of the invitation to come here tonight. I'm essentially a volunteer. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees of Solace Women's Aid. I've been involved with Solace as a volunteer, I think, since I started my legal career. I am actually a family lawyer, and I've been involved since the early 90s. I'm so passionate about this organisation, and I've been involved, and one of the reasons why I've stayed involved, I even ran the London Marathon this April to raise money, and at 53 it was hard work, I can tell you. And I ran the marathon to raise money for our children's services, partly because I'm sure everybody thinks, oh, it's easy to raise money for children within the UK, but it's not. It's the service that we find the most difficulty in raising funds to provide support services for the children. And the children, of course, are the completely innocent victims of domestic violence. I don't know if any of you have read Roddy Doyle's book, The Woman Who Walked Into Doors, which is an excellent book. I'll just read you one quotation. "None of the doctors looked at me. I didn't exist. They stared at the bruises for a split second and then away. There was nothing there. I could go to the shops and no one saw me. I could smile and say hello. They could see the mouth that spoke the words, but they couldn't see me. The woman who wasn't there. The woman who had nothing wrong with her. The woman who walked into doors." And in the time it's taken me to read that quotation, there'll be 2 more incidents of domestic violence will have been reported to the police in the UK. And the statistics are quite horrendous, and I think you have a lot of statistics in the paperwork that we've provided. And I've put them up on a PowerPoint here. 1 in 4 abusive relationships at some point. DV accounts for 2 women's deaths each week, and 1 in 5 murders in London. And 3/4 of the refuge population in this country who are in the refuges that run, not only that we run in London, but throughout the UK, are between the ages of 0 and 14. And at Solace, on average, we are working with about 100 children at any one time. And we are actually an organisation, we take boys, children as well, which some refuges don't, but we take them up to the age of 16, providing it's safe for them and for us to do so. World Cup, it seems to be a bit of a theme. It's not great news for everybody. A bit of drink, I think, can account for this, but incidents of domestic violence increase by 30% during this time. And the effects on children, and in my job, my daytime job, I act for children in proceedings brought by the local authority when they're often seeking to remove children from the care of their birth parents. And I act directly for the children through their court-appointed guardian. And I see directly how difficult it is for children and the effects on children, and how sad it is that there's not enough support for the mother and the children, so they get to the stage where the local authority have no choice but to remove the children from the care of their parents because they are witnessing brutal violence often between their parents. And sometimes the parents say, oh, it doesn't matter, the children were in another room, they didn't see anything. Nonsense. The children see it, they hear it, they know exactly what's going on, and it has enormous effects on the children. You can see here anxiety and depression, nightmares or flashbacks, physical symptoms. Sometimes children, they internalise the effects on them, sometimes by things like tummy aches, bedwetting, constipation. That kind of thing is a manifestation of the distress of the child. And then they also externalise it through temper tantrums and violence and behaving really badly in school. And goes on as they grow up. 40% of young men who are in prison and 25% of young women in prison all identify domestic violence as being a feature of their childhood. I'm rushing through these because I'm conscious of the 6 minutes, but the effects on children, you can see they, even as small children, they can have very obvious problems, but sometimes the problems for the children don't come out until much later on when they grow up, truanting, using alcohol or drugs, self-harming, eating disorders, all incredibly difficult things to deal with. What our aim is to try and get the children as young as possible, give them therapeutic support so that these long-term effects don't affect them. This is a drawing done by 2 children. My daddy was biting my mummy and she was choking and she was nearly dead. I was screaming myself to death with my mummy. So what we do, and we being Solace Women's Aid, we're a London charity. Camden, Islington, Enfield and Lambeth is the boroughs that we've joined together to provide one overall service. We support the child to recover through therapeutic playgroups. And obviously therapeutic work with children is specialised. You have to be specially trained to do it because you can do a lot of damage if you don't know what you're doing with children. One-to-one work with the mother and the child, play sessions, after school clubs and play schemes. Some of them are quite simple things, organising play groups and sessions at half term or during the summer holiday where things can get difficult. And the children don't have to be in our refuge, they can be in our part of our outreach team and join in these groups. Another image drawn by one of the children, you can see how unhappy clearly the mother is. And like I said earlier, the funding stream for children is difficult. There is no national or local government funding for children, and we get most of our income through government grants. 97% of our income is tied to projects and restricted. We're not able to use that money to provide the services for the children. The usual plea, and I would just like to give you a couple of quotes for some children and mothers. The mother says to us, "It was important, the group work that they did with us, because my children are now well-balanced, confident, well-behaved and overall happy teens." And the child said to us, "It helps because it can stop us going in the wrong direction, and it really helps us with friendships and relationships." Quite a mature and insightful comment. Thank you very much.